Hello everyone, Psynema.com here with another video tutorial. This time I will be going over some ways to make a good corporate video for a corporate client. There are not that many videos or tutorials about how to make a good corporate video online, so I thought I'd start making some myself, and eventually this will be like a whole little separate side series with more to come. But yeah, there's tons of narrative analysis, but very hard to find, corporate video analysis and theory. I mean, I graduated college, over 10 years ago. I remember, a decent amount of film analysis, and then you get out into the real world and you're like, oh man, you gotta be Don Draper on top of Fellini. Never ends. Anyway, this episode will be particularly aimed at dealing with stigmas, how to help your corporate client that you're making a video for overcome any misconceptions or negative stereotypes about their company or their product. You all know what I mean, like, oh, that's too expensive, oh, only old people buy that, only young people buy that, only pretentious people buy that, that's not me. But anyway, what you want to do and figure out when you do a corporate video is what your client's stigmas are, talk with them about it, or come up with some on your own. And the most important thing about handling a stigma in your corporate video is the phrase, do not think of an elephant. I repeat, whatever you do, do not think of an elephant. Do not think of the ears, do not think of Dumbo, do not think of peanuts. Yeah, you thought of an elephant, didn't you? Alright, and that's the main thing I want to tell you all, do not think of an elephant. Which pretty much means do not mention the stigma in the corporate video. And the reason you don't want to mention stigmas is pretty obvious. It comes off as desperate, and it reminds people of why they should not be buying your product rather than getting them to buy the product. For instance, if you went out on a date with someone and they kept saying over and over again, oh, I won't cheat on you, I won't cheat on you. That sounds creepy. You don't want to date that person anymore. Or if a homeless person comes by, one just asks for $1, and then one says, oh, I'm not dangerous, I'm not gonna bop you over the head and take your money, but do you have $1? That you pull the mace out on that guy. So, yeah. And for a quick example of that is the recent McDonald's ads.
And you grind them up and you pour that into a mold, and that's what's used to make a chicken McNugget. That's not true.
They taken a lot of heat with pink slime and their food being disgusting, so they made a very elaborate series of corporate videos where they mention pink slime, beaks, feet, butts being in their disgusting food.
Now they say that this is pink slime. So if you grind up the parts of the chicken that you use, does it look like this? No beaks.
No beaks.
No feet.
No feet.
You see disgusting body parts of animals, and it's a complete and utter train wreck, especially if you read the comments, and that's pretty much because they reminded people of the stigma. A lot of people don't care about pink slime, or they never heard of it, and if that was the case, they now know about it. And secondly, even if someone really shrugged their shoulders at pink slime or artificial food, taking a tour of some of the McDonald's factories is pretty gross, even if that's how chicken is made.
See this? This is what people think the final step looks like, but it's got a completely different texture.
And then they try to show this because it's real meat and not pink slime. The thing is, it's still disgusting. It looks like if you ate pink slime, threw it back up, and just let it sit out in the sun for a few days. And when I look at pink slime, I kind of think of strawberry custard, to be honest. I wonder if McDonald's sells strawberry milkshake still. Pink slime milkshake.
Pink slime, or the whole chicken, beak and claws and everything. That's not the case. The reality is that they're made with white meat chicken. There's no mystery. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've been there. It is what they say it is.
Don't believe the lies. It is what they say it is. It is what they say it is. It is what they say it is. Alright. Not a good ad. And pretty creepy phrasing at the end there by Grant Imahara. And to make matters even worse, people generally trust their French fries. It's not meat, So meat is a more sensitive based topic when it comes to food. So they go on this potato farm to make sure everyone sees that their French fries are natural. The potato farm they shot on, as you can see here, completely infested with horse flies. Now you have French fries, which people trusted, and now I'm kind of grossed out. I don't want that many flies crawling and pooping all over my potatoes. It's sick. Alright, and that's why you do not want to explain yourself by mentioning the stigma. It is a defensive position. You are not going to have confidence in a defensive position, and people will mistake that lack of confidence for guilt, no matter how well you explain yourself or how much proof you show them otherwise. Here is another reason why you do not want to mention the stigma. The economy, whenever you sell someone something, it is desire-based. It is not logically based. And what I mean by that is if you debunk a reason why someone should not buy something, you may have proven your point, but you still have not made that person want your product, which is what you really want to do. You have to get them to want the product. Okay, so what you want to do, because we live in a desire-based economy, you want to covertly debunk a stigma without mentioning it, and you're going to debunk it by using a desire. So you're going to push a desirable trait or a desirable aspect of the product that in and of itself debunks any shortcomings or issues people might have in buying it. And that sounds hard or convoluted, but it's actually very simple. We'll go through a few examples real quick. So our first example, we'll take a music school. Let's say there's a local music school. They send teachers out to their kids' homes and they give them instrument lessons. And so one of the stigmas in a music school like that, one, whenever you shell out money to get your kid lessons, parents are very wary on whether or not their kid is going to keep up with it or if it's going to be a giant waste of money. Some people view music lessons as just another toy that the child will get bored with and not touch, and it'll collect dust after a month, and then all of a sudden the parents wasted all this money on the musical instrument and on the lessons. And another stigma in a music school is teenagers. People have a bad connotation with teenagers by themselves, coupled with music, especially rock music. You know, you get the little horns and the goth scene going there. That sends a bad image in some parents' minds. So we got two stigmas. One is, will my young child actually keep up with the instrument? And number two is the bad image, you know, teenagers and rock and roll have. Alright, but if you really think about it, we can create a desire out of that without mentioning the stigmas. For instance, if you get a teenager who has taken lessons from that school all the way since childhood, then the, you know, the negative stigma of teenagers becomes an asset, because you get a teenager who's been at that school for the past decade. You put the teenager up there, all of a sudden it's not a negative stereotype. It's a person who has been with the school and kept up with the lessons the whole time. So you need to tell that potential client, hey, if you have any students that have been with you for a very long time, like do you have a 16 or 17-year-old who's been with you for the past 10 years? And usually they will say yes. So you just tell them, we absolutely need people like that to interview. So you're getting a 2-for-1 just by telling the school, hey, we need a teenager who's been with you for a long time. That alone, just having, you know, a couple teenage representatives that have been at that school for a long time, automatically debunks the stigma. Does not mention the stigma. So you'll get your teenage representative up there, and what we want to do is create the desire. So the desire aspect will come from every parent and every child, you know, wants childhood memories. You know, you get a kid of your own, you're nostalgic about your own childhood, you kind of live vicariously through your children, and you want to give your children very nice, precious memories, which, you know, most music schools do. If you grew up playing an instrument, that was a good memory for you growing up. So you get your teenage representative up there, you get as many pictures of him as 6, 7, 8 years old. You know, and then they'll see pictures of the teenager as a cute kid, which will build a nostalgia factor, and, you know, again, fueling the desire to give, you know, your child a very good memory and upbringing growing up, so they will want to join this music school. Pile on the photos as year by year as he gets older and older, and then you've built up a nice little childhood for your interviewee and for the audience to see, and then they'll want that for their children. And that's how you do it. Debunk 2 stigmas with one stone. And that's way better than mentioning the stigma, or, again, don't think of an elephant. So that would be way more powerful than having a owner of the music school who obviously has a biased opinion that's going to fall on deaf ears no matter what he says, say, "Many parents fear their children will not keep up with the music program. Rest assured, we here at so-and-so music school have many kids who have been with us for 5 years or longer, so rest assured your kids are safe here with us." That would be a horrible speech that no one would pay attention to. Okay, and while this may seem like a very simple idea, having a biopic of a customer at the music school, and it kind of is, but it's important to note the science and the reasoning behind it. If you are a parent and your child wants to go to that school and you watch that ad that I just proposed, chances are your two main reasons for saying no are pretty much turned completely off after watching that ad. Whereas other ads, even though they may be funnier, maybe they have a clever joke, you know, maybe they're heartwarming, but they don't necessarily address the stigma, so the parent still has the option of saying no. You won't keep up with it. Clever ideas or neat ideas or funny jokes are a dime a dozen. If you pitch to a client, they're going to get dozens and dozens of funny gags, clever stories, but in the end, it's always nice to have a solid reasoning about why you formatted and made your pitch to them, why you did it the way you did, in order to address a potential problem they may have. And other pitches, they might not do that, and you'll get the job and they won't, because you addressed what they actually needed and just didn't think of something clever and submitted it to them. Okay, and as simple as that idea seems, you know, you have the reasoning behind it, and, you know, it's kind of like what they say about movie editing. They say good editing is invisible. Likewise, good advertising is subtle and simple. If you tried it too hard to be gimmicky, try too hard to be a tearjerker, your audience is going to see right through that.
Because I died from an accident.
You know, you could refer to the Super Bowl commercial with the dead kid for reference there about trying too hard. We'll do another example of debunking a stigma using a want-based desire without actually mentioning the stigma. Let's talk about credit unions, for instance. They're in the news as of late as an alternative to banks. One of the stigmas a lot of people have for credit unions is that they are too small. Oh, I won't be able to reach one in a reasonable manner. I'll have to drive 30 minutes just to find an ATM, let alone the actual branch. Okay, so we have to debunk that stigma that credit unions are too small to compete with the banks, that, you know, your payments will go through slowly, which they won't, or that you can't find one that's close to you. And most credit unions are aware of this and come up with very cutting-edge software to compete with big banks, and a lot of them are actually faster than banks. For instance, I did a shoot for a credit union a while back, and they had this very neat app where you pretty much had a branch of the credit union on your cell phone. You could scan checks on your cell phone, take a picture of it, and it would automatically be deposited, which is a phenomenal thing. You're getting paid right away pretty much, and you don't even need to visit the bank or even find an ATM, or not even find the mailbox, not even find a computer really. You just take a picture of your check and it's automatically in your account the same day. As soon as people see that, that creates a want, because people are going to want to do that. Not only is it convenient, not only is it fast, it is an awesome conversation piece. It's an awesome parlor trick to show your friends. Oh, check this out. Bloop. And you just feature that in your video, and that in and of itself debunks the myth that credit unions are too small or too slow. You literally have a branch of a lot of credit unions with their software systems in your pocket. So in that you can push that as part of your little video there. You could say, how close is your credit union branch? There's a branch in my pants. Which kind of rhymes because you can make a little jingle. There's a branch in my pants, dot dot dot. I'm joking, don't do that. And that is way, 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 way more effective than having a CEO or a representative from the credit union come on stage and give this very hackneyed corporate video speech saying, many people fear credit unions are too small to compete with the banks, but rest assured, we here have 34 branches across the tri-state region with 300 ATMs located in stores throughout, with more on the way. And that speech would just bore everyone to death, and they would just hit the back button and not even watch the rest of the video. But you see someone, cashing out their paycheck right away on a cell phone, you're going to keep watching that. Alright everyone, I want to thank everyone again for watching. I want to make more of these marketing how-to videos. I think it's an interesting topic, and I always had a hard time finding tutorials on how to make a good corporate video, a good commercial, and yeah, so I decided to make some of my own. More to come in the future, and I would love to actually do a complete pitch from beginning to end one day for you. So if you have any suggestions, or if you're an actual business owner looking for a pitch for a commercial or a short, 3 to 5 minute corporate documentary, you can email me. Alright, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe.